Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to some more Let's Play the Occult Chronicles. In the last episode, Dr. Whom was successful in his attempt to climb down to the bottom of the haunted, possessed mansion and eliminated the gigantic, powerful poltergeist possessing the place. We then walked out, having, I suppose, successfully tested the experimental device for the odd, and wagged our finger at them like, you guys should really check out the place you want this tested at first. In this episode, we're going to start another character. Let's go ahead and begin. And we're going to be playing Forbidden Knowledge. The first time I will be trying Forbidden Knowledge, everyone. I know nothing about this. I don't know anything about the creatures we'll be fighting. I know nothing about what the mission will entail. So this will be exciting. It also means I haven't done any editing of the things we will be encountering mission related. So whatever the special creatures are for this, odds are they're going to be very powerful and we only have one way to defeat them. Physical or magic, and I'm not sure, or mental, if it's some sort of like shadowy creature or something of the sort. But I don't know what it is. So we're probably making a bad character for it. But let's go ahead and read about Forbidden Knowledge, and then we'll get started, shall we? So, Forbidden Knowledge. Z-Branch has been making repeated requests for odd field agents for the purpose of artifact recovery. It seems they have located several possible repository candidates that might house a rare grimoire. The Book of Nusil was reportedly written by a mad monk in the 16th century, and only one copy is thought to remain. The tome is purported to contain funeral incantations, more powerful than those described in the Necronomicon. Your assignment is to travel to the abandoned estate of Sir Clark Ashton Smith and recover the book if it is indeed located there. Now, if I recall correctly, I forget who mentioned it or made the request, but someone asked if we could play the game without any story speed, so we wouldn't have any story tokens. Let's try that. I've never disabled the story speed before, everyone, so I don't know what to expect. I'm gonna imagine there's just no story tokens whatsoever, rather than they still get flipped over and affect the game in some way. We're still playing on agent difficulty, because I don't like any difficulty but this. I find anything lower than that be a little too easy, we level too quickly. By a time we're halfway through the second floor, we're already maxed out with stats and experience points. Anything higher, and I just lose, because the game is mean. And adjusts the difficulty, thinking that you're doing well when you're not. So Agent is for me. We'll still play on Reaper, though. Do I want to play on Reaper? So I like Reaper mode in a game like this. I think it's fun to play it with a roguelike, such that all decisions matter. The unfortunate thing, though, is that if something breaks with the game, as you've seen, the only means for me to fix it is to Alt F4 and start the whole thing over again. But we'll still play Reaper, I guess, for this. Probably our last character through this mansion. Okay, I think we'll end with a girl. What type of character do I want to make? Let's start her out as, like, let's make a cheerleader character. So she'll start as physical, and then she'll go into magic as she levels. Now, normally, you'd think a circus performer would be a good thing to take, but circus performer is one of the weakest starting things you could ever pick. You don't get any pluses to any stat. And D4 starting sanity, while arguably useful for a character that's not going to start taking wands, this is pretty bad. It's always so. What do I want? Boxer? Or thief? They're both cups to start. Okay, well let's think about this. So, or maybe I want something like mercenary instead. Mercenary doesn't get any starting stat bonus. But I don't think I want swords to start either. Thief is very nice because 5 starting skill tokens. Generally, I'll put them into our starting background to level our cups once, and then the rest of the points go towards getting a different starting background. But Boxer gives you +1 cups at the start of the game. The big difference between these, because it might not seem like a big difference, is that Boxer doesn't actually cut into your maximum stats. For example, by starting with skill tokens, Thief will be able to grab a starting thing, a defensive edge, another type of feat, or a stat point. But those could have been earned through experience earned in the game. Boxer instead just gives you +1 cups without you cutting into the stats that you can purchase with experience points. So effectively, Boxer gives you the potential to be a little stronger at the end of the game, at the cost of not being able to access a secondary background so quickly. We'll choose Thief. We'll choose Thief. My thought being that she is here to steal the artifact from this place, so it would make sense for her, I guess, to come in like this. So, I'm gonna change the background for her. She's totally gonna be a cheerleader. She's coming in here. She's special powers. She's like she's the girl from high school that's like the vampire hunter. That was Buffy? Was that what that was? I never watched any Buffy the Vampire Slayer, so I don't know anything about that story or the character whatsoever. But we're gonna pretend that she's like this. So we're gonna go ahead and select her. She'll start with a random lock edge, which can be very nice. A defensive heroic feat, which will hopefully keep her alive against traps. A knife. Generally, knives will give you +1 swords, so that is good too. A water talisman and 5 starting skill tokens. A very nice starting background. She's starting with cups. Will give her a swords bone. You know by now, I just improve these 2 each. We'll do something like this to start. Since she's going to have an easier time with physical challenges rather than mental, we'll give her more starting sanity than health. And for a starting edge, let's go with something that helps us with the starting quests, because without 3 wands or 3 pentacles at the start, and we're not likely to get them anytime soon, we will need assistance with those starting quests. So we'll take verbal intuition. X additional cards are drawn at the start of any persuasion or deception challenge where X is the level of the edge. Now a name. I've been avoiding this because I can't think of a good name for her. Cindy Rice. We'll go with that. All right, so this is her. Good luck, girl. Hopefully you can win this. I'm not going to expect you to, but oh, it'd be wonderful if you could. Let's go ahead and give it a go. Oh, wow. We don't... Okay, so there are no story tokens here whatsoever. I guess this makes sense, in a way. The artifact is just here. It's in no rush to be found. And so we're not under any pressure to find it quickly. We can take our time and explore the entirety of the mansion. So we start with a trench knife. It gives us +1 swords bonus, and we need to have a swords bone to use stick it. Roll 1 bone and bump the card value up on a random non-face card in hand plus X, where X number of swords rolled. So I'm very glad we got this. This also is a bit dangerous because it brings us to four swords. So the game's gonna think we're doing really well right at the start. Hey, we gained calm sidestep. We're a big fan of this. This is the select a card during a trap challenge, and if it's a face card, we score 2 times the number of... We gain tricks equal to 2 times the number that we rolled when we used calm sidestep, and then we draw a card. I really like calm sidestep. It also means I'm going to want to at least pick up the scrying edge when it comes to traps, if we didn't grab one already. She has the ship. I think our last character started with the ship as well, Dr. Whom. We're gonna grab... Ooh. You know what? Let's grab 1 cups, 1 wands, and then we'll work towards a skill card. Oh, holy crap, and we have Braveheart. So Braveheart's one of my more favorite edges. This lowers the cost of every type of heroic feat that you use by 1 or 2 points of courage. This costs 1 to 2 points of courage wherever you use calm sidestep. So there's like a 50% chance. Oh, okay. Well, now it reduces the cost of using this to 0 to 1. So that's good. I like our starting character. Let's jump back to the main menu to make sure she's saved. All right, Cindy. Let's get started. Since we're not under any pressure, we'll walk down here and check for secret passages as well. Dining room, I think, right? Billiards room. Billiards room. Oh, I love the picture. Look at this. It's like there was someone lying on it. These are the legs. Here's the arms. Blood. A ghost suddenly materializes in front of you. It's dressed as if it stepped out of the safari on the Serengeti. It lowers its large caliber big game rifle at you and seems to be considering you closely. You don't know which is scarier, the ghost or the ethereal gun. You cower before the ghost in shame. You feel like a rodent that he might shoot for fun. The ghostly big game hunter squints at you like he is sizing you up for his trophy wall. There is a taint to him. You suspect he once brushed elbows with a witch doctor. You both stand there in a sort of ghostly standoff, waiting for the other to make the first move. You decide to enter a trance and use your skill as a medium to find out what this ghost wants. His taint is suspicious. Hey! Get to take an ace with a 3? That's very nice. Oh, holy crap, game. Thank you very much for being so kind. You have no trouble establishing a link. He is quite eager to speak with you. Cheers, mate. I'm Colonel Von Pelt, and you are my prey. Unless, of course, you can prove yourself useful. It seems one of my trophies has left the roost. I want you to track it down and return it to its rightful place. Come back here and let me know how you fared, or I will track you down. No, just kidding, laddie. I'll make it worth your while. That was very nice. 2 experience points and 4 sanity? We're off to a fantastic start. Okay, we know already what's in this chamber. We're not ready for the ghost boxing match. There is a door back here, though. We'll come back for that. Okay. I'm going to go back to the main menu again, everyone. Because this room occasionally has an encounter in it which doesn't work. Yep. We have no idea what it is. I cannot interact with it. I do not know what encounter it is either, so I can't even look to fix it. The good news is that I don't think it's required. You think you see a disembodied head floating in the gloom. As you near its location, you realize that it is a head of a man mounted on a stake that protrudes from the floor. Dried blood stains the stake in what was once a pool on the floor. You are startled when the eyes of the head flutter open. This thing is animated by some curse or forbidden sorcery, and it almost seems to be smiling at you. You lock gaze with the head, and you feel chilled to the bone. You must fight to keep your sanity. 3 5s and an ace. We are not likely to keep our sanity here. The head's gaze seeks to peel away a little bit of your sanity. The head on the stake is obviously animated by some evil sorcery, most likely some necromantic artifice. Oh, like what we're here for. Such a curse would require great power and forbidden knowledge. Its gaze is locked on you, and you sense an intelligence of some sort. We are not powerful enough to talk with the head. You will yourself to turn and run. You break your locked gaze with the head and quickly turn away. We know now, everyone, to never bother. It's never worth flipping over any card when you run away from any challenge. The only thing you'll win is losing courage. Oh, what was that lock edge we picked up, by the way? Oh, I thought we gained a lock edge. Did we not? I guess it must have been just a normal heroic, defensive heroic feat edge. You feel your foot step down on the pressure plate and then hear the pneumatic sounds of darts being shot through blow tubes. You catch a glimpse of the deadly swarm of needle-tipped killers heading your way. You react without thinking, tucking into an acrobatic duck and roll. Oh. 2 face cards, they're both swords. It's an okay hand. We'll use calm sidestep. Not a face card, so we get no points. We did, however, draw a 3 of wands, which is enough to take the 2 of wands that we revealed there. And thankfully, we actually succeed the challenge, too. You tumble away from the curtains of darts and emerged unscathed. Nice, and we didn't use any courage for that either. You are surprised by a sudden flickering of shadow that spreads out around you. You feel like you are being choked by some invisible force. Your eyes bulge as you fight to gasp for air, and the dark shadows swirl around you. I'll grab a screenshot of this one. I like the picture on that. Oof, no face cards and 2 low cards. mean that we are probably not keeping our sanity here. You start to panic, believing that you will surely suffocate. Two creatures of shadows swirl around you. You recognize immediately that you are dealing with a type of ghostly creature that feeds off human emotions, fear and pain being the most succulent. You can either stand firm and fight them psychically, or run and hope to fight another day. Remember, everyone, that I have added this as an option. Normally, this is the only one you get. It's actually an interesting choice. Our target number is lower, but so is the tricks and draw we get. Here it's one higher, but we get 2 extra trick cards and 1 more draw. You throw a few jabs and notice they actively avoid the shadow of your punches. For a second they hesitate, and that's when you realize you can take them. It's going to be a bit of touch and go, though, metaphorically speaking. The game increased difficulty of this, by the way. I think when it came to adding options for combats or encounters, I made them at least the same as what the other ones were. I did not make them easier. Oh, 2 face cards, a King of Cups and a Queen of Swords is very nice. We have other high number cards with us. It's promising. We'll immediately win the challenge. Wow, and if it wasn't for our King of Cups, we would have lost this challenge. Not many people are afraid of their own shadows, let alone others. Looks like these nightmares should have been, though. Smoking room? Coffee room. There's a room for coffee? A whole room dedicated? Well, it is coffee, Tim. It's not near the... Oh, is it near the kitchen? What's this? A mail room. No, the mail room and coffee room right across from the strange operating room, which is right next door to where they do boxing. Oh, I guess that makes sense, right? You do boxing, someone gets knocked out, you bring them to the operating room. To cut them open at that point. Oh, there is a smoking room right next to the coffee room. I guess that makes a little bit of sense in the mansion. Nothing in it, though. A giant dining room with no doors leading out of it. Where are all the encounters? Where are they? The mission creatures. The sound of some type of dog growling stops you in your tracks. You can smell them now as well. You see movement out of the corner of your eye and turn to face the threat. You can't believe what you are seeing. Men with the heads of jackals. And they are well armed. Oh ho ho, Vic, what were you thinking with this? You can fight to put this all in perspective. It's not every day you see men with dogs' heads. How are we supposed to win this challenge? Oh, with 2 kings? Maybe. 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 Holy crap, and we did! Wow! I did not expect us to win that horror check. Needing a 12 this early in the game? Thank you, game, again, for being so kind today. You've been on several missions to Egypt, and you've brushed elbows with such monstrosities before. There is most likely a Book of the Dead around here somewhere. That's what we're here for. It is obvious to you that someone or something has been summoning power from a Book of the Dead. The writings of the Mad Monk were said to touch upon such things. You think that the power of Anubis is being tapped here. These creatures will be psychically linked to the necromancer who summoned them. You should proceed carefully. Oh, it's not a good chance to beat them up either. But we'll try at least once. You love a good fight, especially when you have a dog in one. I guess that's... Vic, I love you. I love you. You underestimate these creatures, much to your regret. They set themselves upon you like a rabid pack. Ouch. Again. Oh, is it a random card in hand? Oh, okay. I thought it was a specific card in hand. Alright, well that makes it a little less useful. I'm going to hold on to our knight and hope we can find another swords card. That was a mistake. We're dying. One more time. Put them down ruthlessly and efficiently. I don't know about that. We did take a bit of damage there. 3 bullets, we don't have a gun. 2 health, that makes up for some of what we lost. Let's see what's down here first. You see rows and rows of books. Most of the material is quite pedestrian, and what would you expect to find in the library of a large estate like this? However, occasionally you come across an item that is more esoteric, and you wonder what secrets and knowledge might be hidden here. You'll never know unless you look, of course. We don't have a good chance at this at the moment. We'll leave this here until we can get some pentacles. This is probably a cultist who's dead. Another bookshelf. Again, we'll leave that here as well. You've come face to face with a green ooze. You didn't even notice it at first. It sticks to the ceiling, hidden in the shadows, waiting in ambush. Suddenly, it drops to the floor with a sickening squishing sound and forms up in front of you. You feel a rush of adrenaline-fueled fear sweep over you. This lab experiment gone bad could mean the end of you. You struggle to maintain your sanity. You thought that the last of these Lab 257 experiments had been hunted down and destroyed. It seems that you were wrong. You try and recall the warnings from the briefings. The creature will try to suffocate you by enveloping you in its amorphous, slimy tissues. We cannot defeat it. Well, we can, but it will be very tricky. I think we run, and we come back later when we're stronger. This isn't a battle you want to fight right now, and you decide to get away to fight another day. You turn to run, and the creature lunges at you, but it's too late, and you are safely away. We could actually just proceed onward if I'm brave enough to keep going. We passed the flee check such that it counted as an evade instead. Let's keep going instead of doubling back. More Anubis jackals. Alright, we'll fight these guys off as well. Fleeing is pointless. We have a giant green ooze right behind us. Put them down ruthlessly and efficiently. A tool room. A clue. -2 target level. The hairs on the back of your neck are standing up on their ends. A door to the spirit world has been opened nearby. You notice a large tome set on an ornate reading pedestal. It's apparent that the book is bound in human skin. You have seen such things in odd special collections. You feel a presence nearby. Yes, you are being watched, but the strongest emanation is from the tome itself. You could swear that it is alive. Is it breathing? No, that must be your imagination. You sense that not all is as it seems here. Probably a good choice to leave the tome alone. Again, we need more pentacles and wands first. You see a spent candle placed next to 7 chalk circles. You have the impression that somebody has been playing a game here. You notice the cards sitting in 3 of the circles. A sudden chill shoots down your spine as you recognize one of the cards. Death. Something supernatural is going on here, and you can feel it in your bones. A ritual was in the process of being performed and was suddenly interrupted. You can sense the spirit energy swirling about this place. I love taking face cards when we have a higher one in our hand. There's no reason to not play the page. The 10 takes everything the page would have taken, except it itself, obviously. You shrug off the effects of the supernatural energy that has been drawn to this location via the ritual that the deck has begun to invoke. That's a long sentence, Vic. Alongside deaths of despair and darkness, the unseeing eye seems to preside over all 3. This is a very unusual deck. You can't place it exactly from memory. You think it might have originated in the Balkans, but you are not sure. You study the setup carefully to decide what to do next. I don't know if we can do this. We'll make one attempt. You decide to try and examine the card game setup more closely to see if you can identify it and what it was trying to do. The deck is obviously being used for a divination ritual of some sort, but that's all you can figure out. Nothing bad happened. We'll try again. We get another +1 draw, it looks like this time. Yes, you recognize the deck in the setup. It's clearly the work of the Red Hand. You thought that the cult had been destroyed utterly. Why would a Red Hand divination deck be set up here? There must be a spirit key nearby. You should try to find it. If you find the key, you can play the deck without the worry that you might precipitate some catastrophic event. You suspect that it is nearby. A key for a deck created for the Red Hand will most likely bear the mark of the Red Hand somewhere conspicuous. You will know it when you see it. So what have we figured out so far? We've seen shadow creatures walking around and Anubis. There's plenty of ancient tomes and books. Probably the cultist is a member of the Red Hand as well. I mean, it's not, but we're going to pretend it is. It makes sense thematically for what we're seeing so far. And this deck might have been set up to see maybe if whoever set this up should interact with this book stand. Hello, organ room. Suddenly, you see the dim glow of a formless ghost just ahead of you. It seems to just hang in the air. It may be the most basic of spectral creatures, an unformed psychokinetic disturbance, but it's a spirit all the same, and it would frighten any flesh and blood human. That's a long sentence! It's a long sentence, Vic. You stand paralyzed with fear. You hope you don't get slimed. The Howling manifests itself as a dim ball of light. It has no sense of its previous life or existence. It wanders, hopelessly lost. You should exercise caution. These haunts cannot be reasoned with, and they can be lethal if disturbed. Okay. Let's get her. That's it. That's the whole plan. Get her. You got her good. No one's gonna believe how you did it, and you're not sure you are either. That was an encounter I added to it, to make it so that if you're a physical character, you have a better chance, maybe, of defeating it. Three courage! Hey, holy crap, that's wonderful. We'll take 3 courage. And more sanity, too. I thought we'd struggle for sanity, and we have been failing most of the horror checks we come up against, but we've been lucky. We haven't drawn any negative cards for sanity yet. You see before you a large and ornate Baroque pipe organ. The bench before it sits empty. Suddenly, your ears are filled with the haunting sounds of music resounding from the organ's pipes. The melody is terrifying, and you watch astonished as the ghostly vapor encompasses the musical instrument. You struggle to keep your fear in check. The haunting music threatens to drown you in a sea of melancholy and despair. Something supernatural possesses this musical instrument, and you must resist its efforts to chip away. That's your sanity. You have kept your sanity. You shield yourself by humming a simple show tune that's bothered you for the last few months. You chuckle ironically at the fact that such a bad jingle that annoyed you for so long actually came in handy. Whenever I read this, I think to the annoying jingle that I've had in my head for like 24 years. There was an advertisement for a toy called Army Ants back in the 80s. And that jingle has stuck in my head ever since I heard it. And no, I'm not going to sing it. It'd be terrible. I could sing it. No, don't. Hey, hi, for the anti-artillery. Shout out. You stand before the pipe organ and struggle to make sense of what you have just seen and more importantly heard. There's a powerful spirit bound to this musical instrument via some nefarious sorcery or curse. You can feel the anger and rage building within it. You suspect it is getting ready to assault your mind again. You seek to use your talents as a medium to contact the spirit inhabiting the pipe organ and divine what it is that binds it to this world. If you can figure out what is holding it from returning to the spirit world, you might be able to free it. Oh, we lost, but only by 1. You reach out with your mind and recoil at the enormity of the pain that confronts you. The negative energy that has accumulated around this nexus is astounding. Its attack leaves you nearly unconscious and in great pain. We'll try that again. Looks like we're getting an extra draw this time around. Hey, that was nice. Some low cards up there. Your mind establishes contact with the spirit. You recognize immediately that what you are dealing with is the agony of hundreds of tormented souls. No, not souls, but the psychic pain that still resonates in the pipe organ. They want something of you. You think that you finally understand what you are confronting. The disembodied death agony of hundreds of souls has accumulated in the pipe organ either by design or accident. The negative energy manifests itself as a single entity, a self-aware super spirit of anger and rage. You suspect that you are witnessing the end result of many a black mass and vile sacrifice. It wants your help to free itself to seek retribution. Many years ago, it was sabotaged by the will of its creator. It needs you to seek out its missing parts and a sheet of music that can release its trapped rage. First, find the grandfather clock where the missing parts are hidden. Then confront and destroy the evil organ master ghost that weaved the binding spell and hid the missing parts. It possesses a sheet of music that, when played, will break the curse. We'll do one more room, everyone, and then we'll call this session at the moment. The only bad news, everyone, about not having this is that these generally get flipped over, it turns out, more or less, about an hour into a game. That's a good spot for me to stop. But without the story tokens, I don't know how much time I'm playing for. Okay, zombie in this room, probably the heads on the wall here. Oh, I don't like this. One of these is probably the crocodile, the other of these is probably the wall of heads. It'll be tough to flee from. we're going to leave this room unexplored at the moment and come back when we have another pentacles. I think we'll ignore this room. Oh, hello. Oh my god, look at that door. Well, we'll investigate how difficult it is to open it. You hear the clatter and swish of air before you can even see it. Then suddenly in front of you is a supernatural cyclone of razor-sharp butcher knives. It's moving right towards you, and you don't have the luxury to panic. You fight to keep yourself calm and not give in to the panic. You begin to sob and weep in terror. You don't have time for this, but you can't help yourself. You know a poltergeist when you see it, and this one is armed, dangerous, and mad. So we cannot win. So we gotta try to run. You muster courage to turn and run. This thing obviously wants to make a point. We have nothing higher than a 4. So we're probably not running successfully from... Oh! We are running successfully from it. You find the willpower to turn and run. We'll still search the room. Come back for you much later. You see a sealed large door that is controlled by a station of levers. Some of the levers have bright metal handles, while others are topped with ornate-carved wooden figures depicting human figures. Wait. Writhing in torment. That's right, Tim. You read that correctly. The figures were used twice, really close to each other. We can't do this, so we're just gonna leave it alone. But I just wanted to see how difficult the challenge was. Another ghost. Well, let's get her again. Maybe... Yeah, get her. That's far easier than trying to destroy the ghost. You got her good. Okay, everyone, and I think we will stop here. So let's summarize what's happened so far. So we've explored some amount of the mansion. We avoided several of the battles because we're not strong enough for them. We managed to slip past the green slime to get on this side of the mansion. These frighten me. I don't think we're powerful enough to do these. We got away from angry poltergeist of knives. Thank God. You can get some pretty bad impairments from that. If you lose, like, you can get a wound from that. A wound would cripple our character. We'd probably have to give up immediately if we got one so early on. But we're almost at another skill card. We'll probably take something that gives us access to spells and raise our pentacles up. And, I guess it's looking okay so far. We didn't find anything. Oh, we also found one clue token, and we passed several of the quests so far. Rather, the requirements to gain some of the starting quests. So, it's looking pretty promising. We also see that there's some bookshelves here, so we'll have access to spells later on, or the potential to get them. And that'll do it for us, everyone. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you all in the next one, and take care, everyone.